You ever hear the sound of 200 diesel engines idling helplessly stuck behind a steel gate you built with your own hands? I have. And I'll tell you, there's no music in this world quite like the frustrated roar of $50 million in trapped yachts, their owners pounding on a fence, staring at me like I'm the villain in their story. Now, before you start judging, let me ask, what would you do if some HOA Karen called your late spouse's memorial an eyesore? Me, I go by Dale Hutchinson. 62 years old, been welding steel longer than most of these folks have been alive. And not so long ago, I became something I never planned on: a widower. 35 years with Sarah gone in one cruel spring. My daughter Jess lives up in Portland, busy with her own life. And me, I'm just trying to keep my head above water, one cup of coffee at a time. The only thing that still feels real is our 1988 Grady White. Sarah's dream boat. We bought her for our 10th anniversary, couldn't afford it, bought it anyway. That boat saw more sunrises and spilled coffee than most folks see in a lifetime. Every weekend, I sit in her old captain's chair, hands wrapped around the wheel wind chime Sarah picked out, still singing above my head. I close my eyes, and for a second she's right there beside me, warm and laughing, coffee steaming, watching the sun break over Clearwater Marina. But Clearwater Point isn't exactly my crowd. This is the kind of place where $500,000 condos look down their noses at $1,000,000 yachts. My own house, inherited from my folks, 2 beds, barely fits among all the glass palaces and chrome driveways. I'm the last of the old breed, and believe me, they know it. That's where Margaret Eastwood struts in, 49 HOA president, wealth advisor, and Olympic-level busybody. Think pearl white Tesla vanity plates, the kind of sunglasses that cost more than my truck. Margaret lives in the penthouse, works out in $300 yoga pants, and talks to the rest of us like we're invisible. Tuesday, first week of May, she parks her Tesla sideways across my drive like she owns gravity. She gets out waving a folder. "Mr. Hutchinson, your fishing boat doesn't align with our community aesthetic standards." Not even a hello. She hands me a violation notice, removal required within 72 hours. You ever get lectured about property values by someone trespassing on your lawn? That's HOA life. I stare at her notice, then her Tesla, then back at my boat. Funny, because my neighbor's 45-footer hasn't run since Obama was president. Somehow that dock ornament qualifies as tasteful, but my memorial to Sarah is public enemy number 1. Margaret's board had suddenly cooked up new recreational watercraft guidelines. Thing is, I know those old HOA docs better than my own tax returns. There were no such guidelines back in '87. I asked to see them. She checks her Apple Watch. Available during normal business hours. 72 hours, Mr. Hutchinson. As she click-clacks away, I can't help noticing the Bertram next door leaking oil into the water. No violation on that windshield. Another slip's got a boat up on block since Christmas, no fine there. But my Grady White, $500 a day starting now. Apparently remembering my wife is now a code violation. But here's where the real story starts. That same morning, I grabbed my coffee and walked the docks for once, really looking at the place. Senator Bradley's 60-foot Hatteras has rust stains and ripped awnings, and that generator coughs louder than a dying tractor. But wouldn't you know, it's classic vessel exempt. All you have to do is donate 50 grand a year to the Marina Fund, and suddenly classic covers a multitude of sins. That's when Sarah's voice comes to me. She always said I was a dog with a bone when things got unfair. So I head to the county courthouse hunting for answers. 4 hours of flipping through dusty deeds, easements, access agreements. I finally find it, the original Marina development plan. All 200 slips were only legal because they had water access across a 50-foot wide strip of land, my land. Turns out my parents gave the Marina a permissive easement back in '87, revocable with 30 days notice. Not permanent. Just a courtesy, really. I sit there realizing every single yacht in this place is only floating because I let them. And Margaret Eastwood had just declared war on the guy holding the keys to her kingdom. I call my old friend Frank, a surveyor. He shows up with GPS gear and orange spray paint. We walk every inch of that strip. It's the only way in or out. Without it, those boats are as useful as bathtubs. I head home, dig through Sarah's recipe box till I find the property deed and start reading the fine print. Meanwhile, Margaret escalates fancy law firm letters, threats of $50,000 lawsuits for non-compliance. You ever get threatened with $50,000 when you're living on Social Security and a little pension? I just stared at that letter while my coffee got cold and the wind chimes outside suddenly sounded lonely. But Sarah, God bless her, always planned ahead. Her insurance left me enough for a good lawyer. Enter Carol Jackson. No nonsense, drives a 10-year-old Honda, wears department store suits. I show her the easement paperwork. She reads every line, then smiles. Dale, you can revoke this with 30 days notice. They've got no leg to stand on. For once, I feel hope. Margaret's flexing HOA muscle, but I'm sitting on the main artery. Carol lays out the plan file notice with the county mail letters to every boat owner, post legal warnings. 30 days later, I can close off access and let the chips fall. The next morning, I tell Jess, my daughter, the whole story. Dad, are you okay? She asks. Better than I've been in months, I say. Your mother's boat is staying right where it belongs. Margaret, though, is in full meltdown. Calls a 7 a.m. emergency HOA meeting. They try to vote my boat off the dock, claim it's unsafe. Authorize towing at my expense. Of course, her friends outnumber the rest of us. I sit there smiling, because I'd spent the week documenting everything, every boat, every car, every dollar that passed over my strip. The HOA had collected millions in access fees for something my family gave away for free. That Saturday, I set up a folding chair at the edge of my property, clipboard in hand, counting trespassers. 87 boats crossed my land in 6 hours. That's 87 violations if I want to get technical. Tom, the maintenance guy, sits beside me. You really going to shut it all down, he asks. 30 days notice, Tom, just like they gave me. Tom laughs, but there's worry in his eyes. See, Margaret's got expansion plans, another 50 slips. Big investors lined up more money for the same little patch of my land. I call in a surveyor, get GPS readings on every inch. Turns out without me, this Marina's dead in the water. That night I tell Carol, let's file the termination. She warns me this is going to upset a lot of people. I watch another yacht cruise by. Margaret called Sarah's boat unsafe and tried to steal it. I'd say she drew first blood. With the paperwork filed, I get to work. I buy 300 feet of galvanized steel fencing posts, every 10 feet deep concrete footings. Solar-powered gate, remote-controlled. Cost me $12,000, every cent justified. I ask for help from the folks. Margaret always ignored Tommy Rodriguez, Bill Santos, Pete Morrison. Working guys. We build that fence, military style, every detail, right? You sure about this? Tommy asks, pouring concrete. Margaret's gonna flip. She started it. I grin. Margaret does everything to stop me. Inspections, threats, even tries to get the sheriff to shut me down. But the permits are solid and every move is legal. Finally, she tries the last card, shows up at 2 a.m. with 3 guys and sledgehammers. Caught on my security cameras, clear as day. I call 911. Sheriff hauls her off in handcuffs, designer athleisure and all. Court day comes. Her lawyer begs the judge to make me reopen the easement. Judge just shakes her head, holds up the video of Margaret's midnight attack. Motion denied. Margaret's insurance drops her. The HOA board panics. The investors pull out. 8 days the Marina sits silent. 8 days of angry yacht owners, canceled vacations, lawsuits brewing. Margaret gets fired, her house up for sale. The new HOA president, Tom, comes to me. Let's make a fair deal, Dale. We settle on real compensation guarantees for Sarah's dream and new bylaws so no future Margaret can pull this again. With the settlement, I set up the Sarah's Dream Maritime Scholarship. Every year, local kids get boat safety lessons and fishing trips. First recipient's Tom's grandson, Diego, who used to clean boat hulls for pocket money. The best part, Saturday mornings, sitting in Sarah's old chair, wind chimes singing, Diego by my side, Tom with Marina, updates Carol dropping by for coffee and war stories. The Marina's alive again, this time with respect. No more bullying, no more secret fees, just neighbors sharing the water like it ought to be. Margaret last I heard she's in some downtown condo, banned from HOA boards for life. Justice served cold, just like Sarah always said. So tell me, was I right to fight back? Or did I go too far? What would you have done if someone threatened your family's memory, your rights, your home? Go ahead and drop your own HOA nightmare stories in the comments. I read every single one. Don't forget to subscribe for the next wild ride. Wait till you hear how I bought a parking lot just to ban another entitled neighbor for good. And remember, out here bullies only understand one thing: consequences. Stand your ground, document everything, and never let anyone's money push you off your land. Thanks for hanging out with us, where the Karens meet their match and real neighbors look out for each other.